And I wanted to highlight one of the other problems that can happen between tourists and local residents. And the first thing to mention is the problem of second homes. Now, a lot of people visit the Lake District every year, and when they do that, they can become especially fond of specific areas within the Lake District, usually these beautiful villages, and it might lead them to want to buy a second home here if they're in a position to do that. Now, that in theory is not a problem. However, the problem with so many people wanting to do that is it raises the house prices in this area. And again, you might think that that's not necessarily a problem. However, it can quite often price the local people out of the market, and that can be a problem. It means that there's not enough houses for the people living in this area, and it also means that those people who are living here and want to buy can't afford to buy if the house prices have risen by that amount, and these people might be forced to move away. Quite often the people that are forced to move away are the young, skilled workforce that actually would be better to be within the Lake District themselves. So second homes are a serious problem within the Lake District. Another problem that is kind of associated with second homes is it leads to something called a temporary population. Now, that means that if you have got a second home within the Lake District, you're most likely only visiting it through certain periods of the year, and for the rest of the year that particular house could be left completely empty with nobody living there. Now, what that's going to create is a village that has very few people actually living there all year round, and from that the local authority or the government might start to cut services because they're not being used properly. So villages will see things like shops being closed, bus services being stopped or reduced frequency, and you might even see things like schools and doctors and things like that being closed down and moved to different larger settlements, and that's a problem for people who are living here full time. It can also lead to a real loss in atmosphere because these are such beautiful, quaint villages, but with people not living here all the time, they can be empty, and it creates quite an unhappy environment, and it does lose its atmosphere. So what can we do in order to solve these problems? Well, the first thing to do is that you can only sell to people who actually live in the area. You're not allowed to necessarily sell to people who are not from the Lake District themselves. That would be one of the ways of solving that problem.